Hey everybody, and welcome back to Rocco's Kitchen. Tonight we're going to make some breaded pork cutlets. That's going to be going with some roasted potatoes and some delicious broccolini. I will leave a list of everything ingredient-wise and procedure-wise in the comments underneath the video. But as always, salute. Why don't I show you what you're going to need for this? Alright guys, we're cooking, so let's have some fun with it. Maybe a glass of bourbon, a glass of wine, who knows. Whatever you fancy there. For our roasted potatoes though, we are going to need some potatoes. I'm going to use 5 russet potatoes. I'm going to use half of this yellow onion, some sage, extra virgin olive oil, and our handy dandy salt and pepper. For the broccolini, we'll also be using the zest of a lemon, some pecorino romano, and then we're going to bring back our extra virgin olive oil and our salt and pepper. Now, our breaded pork cutlets. We're going to need some pork cutlets. I got some pork chops, some thin pork chops. I'm going to pound those out a little more. Flour, salt and pepper, plain breadcrumbs, and an egg wash. That's just eggs mixed with a little bit of like a dash of milk, whisked up real nice. And we are going to garnish this guy with some capers and just squeeze some lemon on top, and that's going to be all you need. So our potatoes are going to take the longest to cook, so that's what we're going to start with. I got my oven preheated to 450 degrees, but I also got a pot of water on that is salted to blanch my broccolini. So at the same time, once we start these potatoes, I'm going to drop those broccolini in there, put them in an ice bath, just blanch them so I can broil them later. And season them, broil them later. Let's get started with these potatoes. What I'm going to do is take these potatoes, cut them into slices. Roll away on you. Be careful. Okay, we'll get those into a bowl. We're gonna julienne half this onion. We'll take off the top, take off the bottom. Cut her in half. Take off that skin. Give that a quick thin julienne. That goes into the bowl. Table a little light before I cut my sage, but I'm just going to pick off some of these sage leaves. Should be good right there. I'm going to bunch them up, cut those nice and thin. Sage is going to give you a lot of flavor. I love fresh sage, it's one of my favorite herbs. You could also use rosemary, do some rosemary roasted potatoes. Rough chop through there. Into the bowl. Now, we got our bowl. We're just going to go extra virgin olive oil. Salt and pepper. Toss that up. Be afraid to get your hand in there, get a little dirty. parchment paper on the potatoes. Beautiful already. Spread them out as best you can. And those bad boys are ready for the oven. We're going to pop those in the oven. That's going to take about 45 minutes, and we're going to blanch our broccolini. So we got our potatoes in the oven. Those are going. Salted water is boiling. We're going to go in with our broccolini. We just got to get that submerged. Now all we're doing is getting this a little tender because we're going to finish it on the broiler later. So that's not going to take long, maybe 30 seconds or so. And then we got our ice bath ready over here. Actually, all we got is ice. And we got a little more time. All right. See what happens when you're drinking bourbon and cooking. Now we got our ice bath ready. You can tell we start getting a little bendy. These thicker ones need just another second. That should be good. That just comes straight out into our ice bath. Gonna let that sit in the ice bath until it cools down. It should only take about another 30 seconds, and then that is going to be strained in our strainer. So it's all ready. Yep, it's ready to go. Well, there you go, guys. Pick the ice out of there. We'll finish that broccolini up, and that'll be ready to go. And then it's just time to bread our pork. By the time we're done breading the pork, it might be time to cook it. Got to pop the broccolini under the broiler, and we're ready to go. So we got this beautiful broccolini blanched, and in the bowl. I just put it right in the bowl that I had the potatoes in, because that little bit of sage and onions that's still in there, it's not going to hurt anything. And we'll give this guy some extra virgin olive oil, some salt and pepper. We'll toss this as well. Make sure it's nice and coated. Should do it. I got another tray. Parchment paper. Spread this guy out. Get it ready for the broiler. So that's got extra virgin olive oil, salt, and pepper so far. Now we're going to do a little pecorino. Grate that over it with our microplane. And some lemon zest. Whoa. Take off on you. My hands are a little oily. You don't need much. That's going to go a long way. Just try to get a little bit everywhere. I think, you know, make it rain, as the kids say. And you're ready to go. So now, when our potatoes are close, we're going to switch it to broil, throw this guy in the oven, and we'll be cooking the pork at the same time. Probably be done cooking the pork by then. Alright, let's start our pork. We'll start. I got saran wrap on the bottom, saran wrap on the top of the pork chops. I'm just going to pound them out. kind of spreading it while I go. The point's not to just smash it. You want to work it out to the sides. That smooth side. Really, say you don't have one of these mallets. What else works? A pan. You don't need fancy tools to do this stuff. You just use what you got. Alright. So, just show you what we got here. Nice thin piece of pork. That's all you need. I'm going to do that to the rest of these guys and we'll bread them up. Our pork is all pounded up. Now it's time to put it through a 3-step breader. So, important thing to remember here is you want a dry hand and a wet hand so you don't cake it all up on your fingers. I'm going to start this flour that just has a little bit of salt and pepper in there. And that goes into the egg wash. Flop that around. Make sure it's nice and coated. Trip off excess. And into our breadcrumbs. And got a nice some nice breaded pork. Like so. We'll just keep doing that. Use my dry hand for the flour and breadcrumbs, my wet hand for the egg. Bread the rest of these guys up. Get the frying pan out, get some oil hot, cook them up, and it's dinner time. We got our pork breaded. We got a pan with oil getting hot. Got it about medium high. Add our pork to that. Squeeze 3 in there. Oh yeah. Now we're just going to want to brown those on both sides. By the time both sides are brown, that should be done because they're pounded out pretty thin. It's only going to take about 1.5 minutes on each side. We're going to let that get brown. Maybe take a sip of your bourbon, sip of your wine. We'll flip the guys and cook the rest of them. In just about a minute, you can see that getting a little dark around the edges. It should be nice and brown on the other side. Look at that. Beautiful. We'll just let that next side brown up. We're going to do that to the rest of these little porks and go from there. Look at that. Both sides nice and golden brown. Put in the next batch. Finish that up. Super easy. Alright, just flipped the cutlets, the last of the cutlets. So they're on the last leg. I got my oven on broil now. Just time to put this broccolini in. Let that go for about a minute and we're gonna be done. Alright, just pulled everything out of the oven. It's all done. Gonna put a little plate together and I'll show you everything we got. Well, hope you guys enjoyed and you enjoy this dish. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, do whatever you want. I'm going to eat dinner. I'll see you guys next time.